28. All right, let's bring in Ann-Margaret Carrozza, an asset protection attorney and former New York State Assemblywoman. And thank you so much for joining us. Let's start there. We know parents would be able to contribute $5,000 a year to the funds, and it could be for higher education, job training, and even purchasing a first home once that child turns 18, of course. So would this be a positive thing for these students and their parents?
Well, it's definitely going to be a positive thing for the youngster, right? So monies are being contributed into these accounts and they're growing tax deferred. And when the child, upon reaching adulthood, pulls money out for approved expenses, such as purchasing a house, starting a business, higher education, the monies do not come out tax-free, as we see with the 529 savings accounts, but they do come out at the lower capital gains tax rate as opposed to ordinary income tax. So it's certainly going to be a boost for these youngsters once they reach adulthood. It will not, however, necessarily help the family in the here and now pay for diapers and car seats and formula.
Right. It's just a way to save money in the long term. I want to ask you about the other tax cuts mentioned, like the no tax on tips and overtime. Economists, they've had mixed reactions to this measure. So we want to know your thoughts about the possibility of restaurant workers or even hairstylists not being taxed for their tips. Would something like this truly help them?
Well, I think the overwhelming majority of Americans support the notion of doing away with tax on tips for service workers. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that the average service worker who receives tips will see a savings of $1,700 per year. That's definitely a good thing for those folks. But an estimated 40% of people who earn tips do not file taxes. So the way that this no tax works is that it's a deduction on your federal tax return. So for the 40% of tip earners who don't file federal taxes because their overall income is too low, they will not see the benefit of this.
That's some very, very important context there I didn't think about. Okay. Ann-Margaret Carrozza, thank you so much for joining us on 24/7. We appreciate your expertise.